Hello people, Awesome50 here, back again, and today this is going to be an update review on the game Starfield. I did a review on this game, but it was only an early review. As in early review, I only put about, I think 20 hours into the game at the time of my first review, and from my first review to this review, where I've put around over 60 hours into the game now and actually completed the game, well, completed the story mode, if you know what I mean, with the faction side quests included. I've put a good amount of time into this game to actually give a half-decent review, I believe. You know, it is a long game. I can't do everything, then review it. Plus, I've got other games I want to play. But this is the problem, you see. The game doesn't make me want to play it anymore. Now that I've put 60 odd hours in, maybe 70 hours, the game just doesn't do anything for me to actually want to do another playthrough. Okay? Now, I'm going to warn everybody here, if you've never played the game, there are going to be spoilers. So this is literally a spoiler alert now. So I'm going to give you at least 2 seconds to turn the video off if you have not completed the game yet, or if you do not want spoilers. Now. Okay, here I go. So, yeah. There's no substance in the fucking game. As in, it doesn't do what Elder Scrolls did to us, and it doesn't actually do what Fallout did to us. Now, granted, Fallout 4 wasn't the best game of the series, and I actually didn't really like Fallout 76. Fallout 3 and New Vegas were fantastic, and they had so much replay value. I must have completed them games lots of times. I must have put 200-300 hours into them games. Even Skyrim, I put 200 hours into that game, and I modded the shit out of it, and it was super fun. But this game, Starfield doesn't do it for me. It just feels like it's a rushed piece of shit. As in, like, well, I don't even know when you made this game. This game was in development for years, and then you mentioned it in the E3, and then you got us all excited for the game. But the problem is, Bethesda, you don't do anything for years, and then you announce the game, yay, we're doing this now, and everyone's going to have fun. And then you put a tremendous amount of pressure on yourself to create a game, you rush the game, and then you bring the game out, and then you hope to God you're going to patch it up when people have already bought the game. Hey, the game's just not that good. As in, for example, you know, you do the UC Vanguard quests, you fight the Terramorphs, this is all really, really fun and good, but once you've done that faction, you don't see a Terramorph again in the game. At least in Fallout, when you had the Death Claws, you did have the fear of randomly encountering them on the map, but you don't even have that again. So you never see Terramorphs again, and the turnout, they're not even that much of a big threat anyway, you can kill them kind of easily. So, I thought Terramorphs were going to be like the new Death Claws. These are terrifying things, and we need to watch out for them because they'll just kill you at random. But you don't see another one, unless I'm wrong, but I actually don't think I am. Once you finish that faction, which is an early game faction, you don't see another Terramorph, it's sorted. But why have that faction at the start of the fucking game? I wanted to see more Terramorphs. You don't see another one. Again, the 3-star collective, when you start doing them quests. It's so stupid. I mean, the whole 3-star collective quests, the whole of them, all of them, are just the equivalent of a single side quest in Fallout or Skyrim or something like that. It's just so not in depth. Okay, it's just super shit. You start off, yeah, you save. This is interesting. You stop a bank robbery, okay? Then you join the 3-star collective. That's fantastic. You get a gun, which is good. I can't remember the name of the gun. Is it called a Peacekeeper or something like that? Anyway, that's a powerful starter weapon. That's fantastic. And then all of a sudden, you're chasing mercs, and then there's like a big conspiracy where the owner of this spaceship yard, who develops spaceships, is in on it because he wants to buy the land, to fertilize the land, and then sell crops because his company isn't doing that well. A super shit plot. That is terrible. What is fun about that? It is. It would just. It were terrible. What were the point in that? There were no point in that. You could have done something so much better. But that is what you produce. That's what you spend years to produce, and you produce that piece of shit. There's no replay value in that because I don't need to replay it again. And then another thing, for example, there's another faction called the House of Arun, I believe, and these are like serpent space wielding cults. But you never. I had to look this up before I even did the main quest. Am I actually ever going to meet the owner? I mean, I obviously met a high up House of Room member, but they kind of tie into the main storyline, and it's not even that much. They represent 5 minutes of the main storyline, and then you fight Zealot. That's how you pronounce it. Zealot depends on where you're from. You meet them sometimes in space, and you get to battle them. Okay, but I was looking forward. I thought, hey, this is going to be like a new Dark Brotherhood faction. I'm going to join this house, and it's going to be super fun, and there's going to be lots of different choices, and you never get to do that. So they're an actual faction, like the UC Vanguard, the Three Star Collective, you've got the House of Rin, they're all war ones, and you don't even get to join the more interesting cults. Why? That would have been really, really interesting, but you can't do that. It's ridiculous. But instead, you can join a mega corporation called Ryujin, I believe it's called. Excuse me. So that is ridiculous. So you get to join this company where you do espionage missions, assassinations, basic robbery, stealth missions. For what? 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 It has no relevance. There's nothing interesting about that. And you don't. And then at the end of it, you get this gadget which helps you in persuasion. Like you get a chip in your head or whatever. What's the fucking? Why would you have that? That's like, it's just a company in the game like Shroud Eklund. You know, like it would have been more interesting in Neon if you became an Aurora dealer or worked for the Aurora company, but you don't even do that. You just join a company, start doing quests for them, and then it doesn't lead anywhere. Okay? And then moving on is also, yeah, you're looking up people. Right, Jen, what is the point? What is the actual point now? Why is that even in the game? Why is that even relevant? It's not even relevant, is it? You know? I'm just trying to think of some analogies to what I could say. It's, for example, you can in the game as well. You can join the Crimson Fleet. Yeah, that's also a faction. You can join the Crimson Fleet, and then you can work your way up. Oh, and then you can do like undercover stuff. So actually, you're actually a double agent for Sys Defense, which is like part of the UC Vanguard, like a different branch sort of thing, but it's like its own thing. You know. But anyway, yeah, so you're infiltrating Crimson Fleet, and then you're told, be on your best behavior, because if you, step out of line and kill people when you don't have to, we're going to treat you like a pirate, it's like the Crimson Fleet. So I thought, hell with this. The game's already that boring. I want to join the Crimson Fleet, so I purposely sabotaged myself so that I was in the Crimson Fleet, so I had Sith Defense chasing me. Okay? But again, whereas in, for example, I mean, Fallout don't really have these factions, not really. Obviously, you did in New Vegas where you had Caesar's Legion, you had the New California Republic, the Brotherhood, the Steel. You played them games, but in the faction where you did the quests, okay, fair enough in Fallout, you didn't actually move up the ranks, so to speak. You did, but you didn't. Whereas if you play like Elder Scrolls, if you join the Thieves Guild, like for example in Oblivion, eventually you will become the Grey Fox. Dark Brotherhood, you become the Listener. Usually, if you join the Mages Guild in Elder Scrolls, you will end up being like the Archmage at the end. Fighters Guild, vice versa, all that. Fallout didn't really do anything like that, but there was a reason why they didn't do anything like that, and it kind of made sense, you know? For example, if you do all the Brotherhood of Steel quests, you're not going to be in charge of the Brotherhood of Steel, because the main story is that important that it cannot allow you to do that for role-playing elements. But Starfield, on the other hand, you do quite a lot. For example, the Crimson Fleet, you move up in the Crimson Fleet, you do all the quests, you don't get mentioned about anything. So for example, I did all the UC Vanguard quests, I did the 3-Star Collective, I did the Crimson Fleet, I did the Ryujin, and I didn't do another quest for them after, and there were no backfire, there were no penalties, there were nothing. It's like I can just walk into the 3-Star Collective, I can do all the missions, and then I can shoot off in my good ship, which they give you, the Star Eagle. That is a good ship, to be fair. If you do play the game, if you do the 3-Star Collective first, you get the Star Eagle ship, which is extremely good for a starter ship. That it is really good, actually. Because it has missiles, you can just keep firing constantly. That's the only good thing about it. So you do these factions, you generally get something good at the end of it. But you don't get mentioned, nothing happens, it doesn't make a difference. For example, you just join these factions, you do the quests, you get something at the end of it, and that's it. Next. There's nothing which engages the player, there's nothing that makes you want to redo the quests. And on top of that, at least, for example, Fallout New Vegas, you get to a point where you have that many choices you can make mid to end game, which make an extreme impact on your character, plus for the role-playing elements. So basically, anything you do in Starfield, it doesn't make a single difference what's going to happen in the outcome. It does not. It doesn't matter. There's no choices. You just get the illusion of choice. The role playing's terrible. Uh, for example, at the end of the game, you get to witness the choices your character made, and they were so insignificant it didn't even make any sense. It didn't actually matter. The only thing that happens is you might be flying around space, and then all of a sudden you get ambushed by a faction. You're pissed off, but it never really actually matters. They never come to the surface to actually look for you. That never happened to me once. And my character actually had the trait of being wanted because I wanted to make my role playing experience more fun, to have a backstory where I'm a wanted criminal, and you bump into them every now and then. Then all of a sudden your bounty increases, and you get bounty hunters trying to keep you alive, so your bounty gets higher. But the problem with that is it never changes. The dialogue never changes, and the bounty hunters don't get any stronger, and they don't actually come at you properly. So it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely shit. Again, they've built this massive map where you can fly to lots of different planets and do X, Y, and Z. But what's the point in that? Because there's nothing on these planets. You can build outposts. There might be something to explore, but there's generally nothing there. You can land on a planet. Not there's only so many planets that actually have settlements, and this is another bugbear for me. You have one settlement on a fucking planet. That's like having just England on Earth, and you can just land here, and that's it. Nothing else. There's nothing else there. So I don't know why this game is being promoted as being all exploring. You can explore, but there's not that much to explore. For example, I'm pretty sure some other people have covered this, but even the aliens and the creatures you see, they're just, if you land on a planet, it's always the same aliens or creatures, just in clusters. You might get one or two different ones, but they're just in clusters. It's like it's rushed. It's like they just put them there for no fucking reason whatsoever. The game's terrible. There's no replay value whatsoever. Nothing you do in this game makes sense. At the end, you meet the hunter and the emissary because you've been chasing the artifacts. You get these artifacts, and if you get enough artifacts, it opens the door to the Unity. So when you go through Unity, you then become Starborn, and when you're Starborn, you're like all powerful. Incorrect. You know, you become Starborn, you go through the thing, you get a new ship, which is weak as fuck. You get some new armor, which is shit as fuck. You don't get any weapons. You lose pretty much all of your credits you save. So if you saved up a lot of credits, you saved up a lot of ammo, you saved up all your best guns and your best armor, the game forces you to do a new game as a Starborn to redo everything you've just done again, except you lose everything you actually grinded for. Unless I'm mistaken, I could have been mistaken because I pretty much turned the game off as soon as I walked back into the lodge in my new Starborn stuff. So I said, she goes, Susan, yeah, Susan, I think, blonde-haired girl. So I said to her, "Hi, I'm Starborn. I am back. I am here to let you know about the artifact." And that was it. And then all of a sudden, the new game begins again, where I'm this Starborn, and I can walk around collecting artifacts and do everything I did again. I can join all the factions I did like before, and get nowhere. But the problem is the game doesn't actually have that many choices for you to make anyway. So there's no replay value. People, if you want to play a game, a better game, a bit like Starfield, play the game The Outer Worlds. Don't play Starfield, it's terrible. There's no replay value. I'm never going to play this game again. I've put that many hours into it and got absolutely 0 hours back out of it. It was a waste of time. When I got so far into the game, when I got about 40 hours in, I was thinking, holy shit, I can't wait till this nightmare is over. This is so boring. But luckily for me at the time, on the Game Pass, I didn't have much to play. So I just persevered anyway, and I've just had a week off work, so I managed to put the hours in just to get this game finished, get this review out, and what can I say about the game? It is not that good. This is, different to my original review, because I enjoyed the game when I first started playing it. When you get 10 hours into the game kind of gets interesting, but then it kind of loses its interest. Another thing I thought would have been good is, there's this guy in Neon, he's like a gangster called Benny. It would have been good if you could join, like, him and do some criminal underground shit rather than joining Ryujin. It's just so dumb. There's so much potential. There's so many avenues this game could have gone down. The backstory, okay, I'm going to support the game here. Yes, the backstory is a bit weak, like having the Three-Star Collective and you see Vanguards fighting each other, and then using, what was it, Xeno weapons, where they used like aliens/monsters as, weapons kind of thing. That is the backstory. The backstory is always going to be weak. Because you got to remember, people, in the Fallout series, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and for example, for Elder Scrolls, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically, their backstory is obviously going to be a lot more in depth because there's more games and they've had to keep expanding on the backstories. But for Starfield, it's weak. For example, you mentioned Xeno weapons in Starfield. Yes, Xeno weapons, like for example, they'd use a Terramorph in battle to help them. Well, you can never actually do that, and you never see it in the game. So that it might as well not even fucking be there. It gets mentioned in the first faction quests, you see Vanguard, and to be honest, when you first start playing the game, you don't even know you've joined them. You think it's just a regular quest at first. And then there's no mention of Terramorphs again. It's just ridiculous. You don't see him again. Uh, I don't know what else to say. The game wasn't that good. I'm not going to play it again. I don't think I'll ever forget the game, though. That's the worst part, because I put that many hours in, and I actually grinded on the game for nothing. For example, the weapons and the armor and stuff you get, it's just not that good. Like, I played through the whole game by only using 3 spacesuits, because I could never find a better one. And I only had, I think, 3 helmets in the game. I had 2 packs in the game. I bought a pacifier shotgun at the start of the game during the Vanguard quests. And I had it till I finished the game because I saved up that much ammo for it. And I upgraded my shotgun certification. So I never actually saw a better weapon until I actually joined the emissary in the last quest. I joined the emissary. Then when I killed the hunter, I got a really, really good gun. And then I become Starborn and lost that fucking gun. But then again, people, I might be wrong. You might actually get all your equipment back when you become Starborn. I don't know. But I was not going to put any more time into that game to actually fucking find out. Because the game just wasn't that good. It was a terrible game. This is a terrible review. Play the game if you want, people. But don't waste your life playing that game, because there's a lot of better things to play. If you want to play something good, better, and a bit more funny, play Outer Worlds. It's got half the game length, and you get just as much out of it as you would in Starfield, because at least when you do stuff in Outer Worlds, it makes more of an impact to the story than Starfield ever did. And now, a lot of people, I did it first in my first review, I praised the space flights. I praised the dogfight battling in space, but it's not that good. Once you've done it about 10 times, it's the same thing. And don't get me wrong, the perks, the skill tree's terrible as well. The skill tree's fucking ridiculous. For example, you need to do quests to unlock skills in the skill tree to unlock the next thing. So, for example, for me to upgrade my grav drive, I had to use my grav drive, say, 20 times to upgrade to the next grav drive ability, which is aerodynamics, I believe. But I also had to use a skill point, so it's so hard to increase your skills. I mean, they've done this on purpose. They've done this because they told you the game was hundreds of hours to play. It is if you want to do that to get all the skills. You should be playing forever, but there won't be much to do to actually level up to get these skills. So it's ridiculous. I wanted to upgrade my lockpicking, but I couldn't because I needed to lockpick more safes and doors, but I didn't see enough to do that. It's dumb as fuck. Really stupid. I think I've covered pretty much everything. I'm sure there were more things I wanted to mention, but that's it. Awesome 50 out. Starfield. Wasn't as good as they promised us.